What is going on, friends? When it comes to upgrading your camshaft in your Milwaukee 8 Harley, the only way to get the most out of that camshaft upgrade is to go ahead and upgrade your cam plate and your oil pump at the same time. And depending on what year Milwaukee 8 engine you have, you might just be eliminating that pesky oil sumping problem as well. In our last video, we covered the issues associated with the Milwaukee 8's oil pump from 2017 to the 2019 models. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll pop it up right here for you guys, so you can go check that out and then come back to this one if you'd like. If you have a 2017 to early 2019 Milwaukee 8 that has the first gen oil pump in it, you probably know all too well how important it is to get that oil pump upgraded to the one that they introduced in 2020, the second generation oil pump, or just get it replaced altogether with a high performance oil pump and cam plate. But before we get into the performance cam plates and oil pumps, if you guys enjoy the video, please help it out by giving a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Oiling on the Milwaukee 8 is absolutely critical, as it is with any engine, and especially if it's a big air-cooled V-twin. Now, the stock oil pump, mainly the newer one, the second generation one, the first gen oil pump did have some issues, but for all intents and purposes, the stock oil pump is more than adequate if you're just running a stage 1 setup with a pipe, air cleaners, and a tune. But if you start really putting some power into the motor, you guys are starting to go with big bore kits, high performance cams, high compression pistons. I mean, you guys are really pumping up the power in these engines. The oiling becomes just that much more critical to keep those expensive parts lubricated and also keep the engine cooled off. Now, one of the best ways to get increased oil flow, get that engine cooled down, and maybe even gain a little horsepower and torque in the process is to go ahead and upgrade your cam plate and your oil pump. The factory cam plate on the Milwaukee 8 is cast aluminum, just as it was on the twin cam engine. So we have some of the same inherent issues from the twin cam engine with its cam plate that we have with the Milwaukee 8's cam plate being cast aluminum. Now, the difference with high performance cam plates is these are not cast. These are actually CNC'd out of a block of billet aluminum. The billet aluminum cam plates, these are up to 50% stronger than the stock cast cam plate. And not only that, with them being 50% stronger, they also hold tighter tolerances under pressure. Adding a performance cam plate and oil pump results in cooler oil, which in turn gives you a cooler running engine. Your engine is going to achieve much better oil pressure, especially when the oil is hot, because as the oil gets hot, the oil thins out, and the stock pump and cam plate just aren't able to maintain as good an oil pressure as they would be with the aftermarket high volume oil pump and an aftermarket cam plate. Performance cam plates and oil pumps will also eliminate that oil sumping issue if you have a 2017 model through an early production 2019 model. Upgrading to the Harley factory oil pump that came on the 2020 models, this will eliminate the sumping issue, but it's not going to give you that flow and additional cooling that you would get with a high performance aftermarket oil pump. So now that we know why you should upgrade your oil pump and cam plate, let's take a look at some of the options out there on the market for us. Now, surprisingly, Harley-Davidson does not offer a billet aluminum cam plate or high performance oil pump for the Milwaukee 8 engine at this time, which is really surprising because that's normally one of the first things they put out through Screaming Eagle. But if you are looking for a stock replacement unit that has high tolerances that you can run with the factory oil pump, the Fueling OE Plus is going to be the choice for you. Fueling's OE Plus is a direct replacement for your cam plate. It's made out of 6061 CNC'd aluminum, and this unit will also accept the factory oil pump. I would highly recommend at this time, if you haven't done so, go ahead and upgrade to the latest Gen 2 M8 oil pump. These units are blueprinted and they are actually matched to the oil ports in the engine cases to maximize the oil flow. The Fueling OE Plus cam plate maximizes oil flow using the stock pump, which is important for a lot of guys because those oil pumps are expensive. And not only that, this unit has tighter journals for your cams, so you're going to get better fitment with your camshaft as well. Fueling has also added a cam journal oil passage, which is going to give you better lubrication on cold startup. They've also added additional oil pressure feed holes, which are going to reduce the thrusting wear on your cams. Now, while the Fueling OE cam plates use the factory oil pump, they maximize the factory oil pump's efficiency. And the price on these cam plates isn't too bad at all, right at $300. And this is a great addition to your upgraded oil pump. So if you guys are taking out a Gen 1 oil pump from 2017 to 2019 and upgrading to Harley-Davidson's latest oil pump for the Milwaukee 8, I would definitely give this OE Plus cam plate a look. Now, if you want to step up to a race cam plate and a high-performance oil pump, S&S has you covered all in one kit, and this kit is expensive, but it's going to save you some money if you buy it in the kit. With the S&S high-performance cam plate mated with the S&S high-performance oil pump, you're going to get 20% more oil flow on the supply side and 52% more oil flow on the scavenge side. That's quite impressive, and S&S has even added independent scavenge sections for the flywheel and the cam chest. The S&S unit is completely serviceable, and it even adds a magnet in the cam chest to help prevent debris from running through the oil pump. If the magnet doesn't catch it, S&S has also added 2 screens on both the scavenge pickups to help protect the oil pump as well. Now, as I mentioned, this kit is not cheap. Combined with the race cam plate and the race oil pump, you're going to be looking at about a $750 upgrade for this combination unit. Now, there's not a huge market out there right now for cam plate and oil pump upgrades on the Milwaukee 8. But Fueling does have their own race plate and high performance oil pump. The Fueling High Flow Series cam plate is machined out of 7075 billet aluminum. This offers 42% more scavenging volume with 68% more oil flow to the crankshaft and connecting rod bearings. Fueling's cam plate and oil pump will actually cool down your engine about 15 to 25 degrees. That's a pretty good number. That is one huge difference in the operating temperatures. That is a difference you are going to feel on a hot day. Fueling even says their high flow cam plate paired with their high flow oil pump, this will actually gain you roughly about 2 horsepower and 2 foot-pounds of torque. Whether that's true, I don't know. It's a pretty wild claim to me. Now, once again, these high-performance units are not cheap. The pump alone is going to run you about $500, and the cam plate's going to run you about $380. That's a lot of money, but it could be well worth the upgrade in the long run. Now, for most of us that are riding Milwaukee 8s, if you have a stock crankshaft and you're just doing daily riding, you're not doing anything too crazy, the Fueling OE cam plate paired with a factory oil pump, the 2020 version, the 2nd generation, that's going to actually be more than enough on your engine. But if you're going for a major bore increase on a Milwaukee 8 and you're really looking at putting down some power, 120, 130 horsepower, an investment into a race plate with a race oil pump, that's going to be worth the money, especially with the amount of money that you're already putting into your bike. You're really going to want to keep it protected. Now, once again, on the Milwaukee 8, I know you don't want to hear this, but they are still pressing cranks together on these bikes, just like they were on the twin cam. So when it comes to installing one of the race plates, whether from S&S or from Fueling, you're going to want to check your crank run out and make sure it's at 5 thousandths or less. The race plates have much tighter tolerances as well as the oil pumps. So if your crank run out is anything above 5 thousandths, you're really running the risk of damaging that high dollar oil pump and cam plate. Now, not all Milwaukee 8 crankshafts came out of the factory the same. And Harley-Davidson, as you can see here, really seems to be okay with up to 12 thousandths of run out when it's paired with the factory cam plate and the factory chain tensioner. So before you go and order a high dollar race plate and oil pump, check your crank run out. Make sure it's below 5 thousandths. The further below 5 thousandths, the better. Make sure you do that before you go out and order that high dollar race plate and oil pump, only to find out that your crank specs are way too far off and you're either going to have to A, try to return the parts, sell the parts, or go ahead and take the motor all the way down, have your crank repaired, trued up, and done right the way it should have been done from the factory. Now, not all cranks are the same. Some of you guys got lucky. You might check it, you might have 2 thousandths, you might have 3 thousandths. And then there's going to be the poor unfortunate soul out there that had about 8 thousandths run out on his crankshaft. It's just kind of a roll of the dice when you bought the bike. The sad part is that with Harley's spec, as you can see in the service manual here, going up to 12 thousandths, that tells me that when they check pinion runout on the line in a truing stand, anything below 12 thousandths is going to be okay, send it on down the line. Anyhow guys, I hope you found the video interesting and informative. If you did, please give it a like so we can help get it shared with others that are looking for this information. But anyhow guys, until next week's video, please be safe out on the streets. Drivers aren't looking out for us, so dodge those cars, ride smart, be safe, and I will catch you guys back here next week in the next video. Thanks for watching guys.